2 weeks ago I did a video called What a Day, and it condensed about 8.5 hours of sailing into a 5-minute video. So for today's video I'm just going to break out a little bit more of that same day. So some of this footage you may have seen brief little clips of it, but this is mostly new footage. So throughout the afternoon the clouds had been building and building, and the winds had stayed very calm, but I knew that the atmosphere was becoming more and more unsettled and that eventually, the winds were going to start really blowing. So I changed out my head sail, so you can see that red sail, that's a number 4, 80% jib, but I'm still flying a full main at this point. So the winds really start to pick up, and I decided to go ahead and put in my first reef. So I heave the boat to, and right as I get everything set, I get hit by a pretty good gust. And then I realized that the boat has a little bit of a counterclockwise spin, so I pull in the mainsail a little bit to give more wind pressure on the stern of the boat and counteract that spin. And then I start putting in my reef. So there's a little bit of a lull, and I get the reef all set, and then I continue sailing. And of course, as soon as I start sailing again, the winds start to pick up. Since I'm not sure what the winds are going to be doing, I'm sailing with the mainsail let out a little bit more than I normally would. In fact, it's on the verge of being backwinded by the head sail. And so I'm doing this just to make the boat a little bit more forgiving if I, get hit by a gust or something. And so, sail trim is really important, but when there's an overabundance of wind, you really can be a little bit more sloppy, I guess, with your sail trim to help keep the boat under control. So here I bear away a little bit just so I can turn on my side camera. Seems like a bit of a lull again here. Closing the top hatch just to prevent any water from splashing over the bow and getting into the cabin. So when the winds start to pick up, all the fishermen head back to the boat ramp and I get the whole lake to myself. When you're sailing upwind on a small lake, you get less and less warning of the gusts coming at you because as you make your way down the lake, there's just less and less water in front of you to kind of read those signs and see them coming. So I'm going to do a couple more tacks here, but eventually I'm going to have to turn downwind to create some more space so that I can make another turn back upwind. Couple of really good gusts right there. So here you can see some dark spots a little further down the lake that are coming at me. So I decide to bear away, and that does a few things for me. One is it lets me take kind of a little bit of a break. Two is that because I'll be going downwind, with the wind at say 4 or 5 knots, then it reduces the apparent wind speed by 4 or 5 knots. And then the last thing is that, of course, I'm getting kind of close to the end of the lake, and so I'm creating that space for me to turn back upwind. So I sail this downwind course for about 10 minutes, and that's just to kind of reevaluate the situation and try and figure out, what the weather's doing, what the wind's doing, and make sure that I'm, staying safe out here. So here you can see whitecaps have started forming, and they're overtaking the boat. So after I sail downwind for a while, I've created the space that I needed, so I do a jibe and then start heading back upwind. And I've also put myself back closer to the marina, so where I am right now, I'm about 3/4 of a mile from the marina. So if I get into trouble, I can always dart back into the marina real quick. So heading upwind, moving really good, and I think that's where I'm going to leave it for this episode.